Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with mysticgenmara.com, and today I would like to, if you probably have heard about this, but I would like to go over how I view the law of attraction, or as Rhonda Byrne would have called it, the secret. She did a lot, honestly, to bring this information forward to the masses, which I will have to say is pretty cool, especially when you realize how much in research her and her team has done over the years bringing this information forward. But the reality of this is not a new concept in the slightest. It goes back thousands of years. It goes back to the time of the Emerald Tablet, which speaks of as above, so below, as within, so without. All things flow from the one source, God, and then return further enriched. The correspondence of the witches, if you want to use that term, which is like their herbs, their stones, etc., are all aimed at bringing an alignment to your goals. They give energy which matches up to what you're working on. The alchemists used the Emerald Tablet to purify their minds and bodies to align with this higher perspective of who they were. And it can actually lead to a supernatural type transformation, basically along the lines of Saint Germain and his violet flame that he used for transmutation. Over the centuries, and if you haven't heard of Saint Germain, I highly recommend looking into him. He was an alchemist and a monk at one point that developed a way to literally purify gems. So even if a gem was cracked or if it was fractured, he could actually bring it to a purified state. He was canonized later on after his death, obviously, but there was a lot about his myths, even when he was alive, that was pretty impressive. But over the centuries, this law of attraction has always been hidden. It's been hidden by people in power or with power. Political and religious leaders didn't want people to know this knowledge, because it creates a direct link between us and our minds and the source, God, divine energy. And so the people in authority always wanted to keep some level of control over, us minuscule little humans, and so they would keep people from being able to research, learn, and understand this. And that really didn't do anyone any favors, to be completely honest with you. But as things went with all forms of secret knowledge, it eventually gets out. No matter how much these people in authority tried to suppress it, it always seemed to keep showing up. And it was taught in secret groups, in covens, and various spiritual groups, collectives, lodges throughout history, no matter how much the people in authority tried to destroy this knowledge. Over the years, books have been written about the law of attraction. At first, it was secreted away in the labyrinth-style language of the alchemists, where one word could mean multiple things depending on what was around it, and different symbols and different... Alchemy is amazingly fascinating for that. But it started to come to a more collective version of attention. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill was a great book, written back in the 30s, I believe. I'd have to look again. And it discusses the law of attraction and ways that our mindsets and how we view money and our relationship with it really is a way that we can either repel or draw to us this financial abundance, which also relates to spiritual, romantic, all of the other forms of abundance as well. The Master Key System, which was written by Charles Haanel, was another one that I really did enjoy. And it actively works with how you view your life and how you respond to things. And the Master Key System, from what I understand, is where Rhonda Byrne got her idea for The Secret. Which, the movie is great, the book is really fun, so if it's something that you've never read yet, I highly recommend it. The movie's like 90 minutes long, it's not that long. And she brings together quite a few different teachers in that one movie that all work with the law of attraction and help you understand some of the basic concepts. Now, to really work with it, you have to go a little deeper because Rhonda Byrne wanted to introduce you to it, and gives a good basis and a good grounding for it. But really, there's a deeper spiritual connection and deeper spiritual component to it, and that's the part where a lot of people will try the law of attraction and then fail at it. And I'm actually thinking of one in particular. She was a spiritual leader for years, and now she's financially in debt. She has a lot of things going on, but she blames the law of attraction. No, you should be blaming the law of credit card. That's what got you. It has nothing to do with the law of attraction, because when you listen to her talk about it now, it has nothing to do with the law of attraction. It has to do with you swiped your card because I want it right now. There's a pattern that goes with the law of attraction to start getting things moving. And how I started to understand this deeper was when I started reading Louise Hay's books, which are absolutely amazing. Highly recommend those. And when I came across channeled works by Esther and Jerry Hicks. Esther is technically the channel, and she channels a collective that is called Abraham. This particular couple and their channeled entity, Abraham, were the ones that really brought this to the forefront for me. In The Secret, Rhonda shows that simply stating your intention is what you need, and holding focus and putting a little emotion behind it's great, and some visualization. There was something missing in how she was describing it to me. Now, other people have had good results, that's fine. But to me, there was just something that wasn't quite getting there for me. But when I started reading Esther Hicks, when she would channel Abraham, and they've got videos, they've got audio stuff. There's a YouTube channel that has her. It's worth looking into. She started talking about ways you can manifest using the law of attraction, but not just sitting in silence, because a lot of us don't work that way. I mean, I can sit in silence for hours. That's fine, but really, when you really start setting your intentions, when you really start creating vision boards, you do these different things to trigger the visceral or the subconscious response. That's what was missing in a lot of what Rhonda talked about, is it's bringing this into a subconscious state. Your subconscious mind does not acknowledge having it or not. You're putting in something there, and it's saying, okay, so this is what we're working with. And so you have to get it from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind, and meditation can do that, but it takes a lot of practice. So Abraham talks about ways to shortcut the practice. Abraham references vibrational alignment that needs to occur for the desire to manifest. So seeing your intention on a vision board is one way of letting your conscious mind have something to look at. It does keep you focused on what you're intending, but are you in line with it? When you create a sigil or a symbol, this is one way to set an intention, but when you created the symbol, what was your alignment? Was you emotionally feeling that you already had it? The uniquely powerful thing about symbols that you create is you create them and forget them. And if you create a complex one, and if it's something you created, it's going to actually trigger a much more visceral response, because you're going to put it away and your subconscious mind is going to hold on to that image even when your conscious mind isn't. But you want to make sure before you sit down and do those, which I will talk about in a future video, you really want to make sure that you're focused on what you're wanting, and you want to have the emotion there. You want to make sure that the doubt, because that's that little voice in the back of your head that's saying, no, you can't. That's not cool. That's not going to work. You want to make sure that's kicked out of your head before you start working with this stuff. And even if you have a little bit of doubt, find a way to neutralize it. Put on happy music, something that's going to uplift you so that you feel in a really good mental state, and then work on it. That way you stay in a more positive mind when you're working with this energy. So Abraham talks about when you're in alignment, you have to visualize the life, the item, whatever experience you're looking for, with your intention in full play. In other words, don't just say, I want a happy life, and then you continue going to work and being miserable, and you go to the restaurant and the food's wrong, or your food's cold. You go get a coffee and it's the wrong temperature. They didn't have the syrup you want. That is saying, I'm putting out this idea, I want a happy life, but I'm going to continue to focus on this miserable pile of garbage that I have. Technical terms, of course. So to make the visualization real, you have to put emotion behind it. You have to put it in the sense of, I already have this. And the more that you put that into this intention, and you really bring it into this alignment, what you're doing is creating a magnetic charge within you. Abraham talks about getting into the vortex, and this is a fun imagery because it's like a whirlpool, and when you're out on the edge of the whirlpool, there we go, your intention's just starting, but as you keep focusing, it brings it in, and as it comes in, it speeds up. And so by the time it gets to the center, it's just a swirling ball of, this is what you got, it's coming in. There's not any questions there. So when you start out, you're at the edge, and things are slow because you're working through those doubts or the fears, or can I really do this? And as you keep working with this, and you keep focusing on, what do I need to do to put myself in a better state so that I can manifest this, so that God can bring this into my life? And as you continue to work with this God source divine energy, you start to see the synchronicities. Things start lining up. The next step starts becoming clearer. And here pretty soon, you're in the middle of the vortex and the manifestation is there. It's magnetic. So when you're doing these visualizations and you're doing this work, what you want to do is put your mind, put your emotions, put how you process it into the present now moment. Even when you read through in a lot of the biblical texts, they're not talking about, and I do reference the Bible a lot, it's how I was raised, it's not talking about projecting forward. Well, in the future, I would like you to bring me. No. It's always, when they're talking to God energy, they're saying, this is what I want, this is how it is, as long as it's not hurting anyone else now. And miracles happen. The thing is we've dumbed ourselves down in a lot of ways. I mean, and I talk across the board. Even I feel this way sometimes. Where we see a miracle as something that happened back then, or only happened in the Bible, or only happened back in, the ancient Hindu times. That stuff doesn't happen anymore. It can. It comes down to, are you in alignment? Are you willing to put the energy into bringing this magnetic charge into your body, where your subconscious mind, tapping into that divine energy, is saying, okay, this is what we've created. The outside world doesn't match it yet, but this is where we're at. And then God comes in and says, okay, well, that's what you guys are working with. Let's bring it in. And so you're building a magnetic charge. And the more you work with this, the more it falls into an easy practice. So when you're doing this type of exercise, you don't want to look outside and be like, well, my world hasn't changed yet. Well, no, why would it? You just barely started. You have to bring it in. So when you're doing these meditations, when you're doing the visualizations, you want to bring it into the state of, what is it that I want? What is my doubt? So write these things down when you're starting out, so that you can really get this out of your head and onto paper. Don't type it. Don't type it. When you write it down, you're putting your own energy out. So you're literally pulling it down out of your head and putting it out through your hands. But when you type it, it's very generic on a keyboard. It doesn't mean as much. When you write it in your own hand, it's putting your emotions into it. So when you're writing it down, write the pros. This thing that I want. Let's say it's a new car. That's the heading. The pros of it. It's going to make me feel good. Love that new car smell. It's going to be more gas efficient. I'm not going to have to worry about mechanic bills for the first little bit. Like, these are things that you can put down as positives. The negatives. Oh, I'm going to have this bill. This is going to be a nightmare. I have to learn its new quirks. Oh, what will my insurance do? Okay, those are negatives. Now that they're on paper, write them smaller. So you start writing your normal print. Write them smaller. And then write those negatives smaller again. And then write them write them a third time as small as you can, and just keep writing them until you're just drawing a line, because it's nothing at that point. Then you can focus on those positive aspects. The thing with the law of attraction, and this is where some people will go a little bit off, is there is a delay, a wait time when you're first starting out. And it will remain pretty much your entire existence on this planet, because there's always something that may come up that may make you doubt it later. So you put the intentions, you're building the vision boards, you're really getting that embedded into your subconscious mind so it can actually come into the physical. And you're there. You feel like you're right there. You have the anticipation. You feel that charge. It's coming. But it waits. It pauses. Because you need time to adjust your mindset. Because your subconscious mind will get a hold of it and clamp on and be like, okay, we got this. But then it's your conscious mind that you have to kind of play jumping jacks with. Because your subconscious mind will be like, we got this. And your conscious mind will be like, seriously, you can't just manifest a car overnight. And your subconscious mind is like, yeah, you can. And so they have this ping pong match that's going on. Your subconscious mind will always win unless you put too much fear and doubt into it, and then things happen there too. But the trick is allowing the process to work through. When you work with the law of attraction, when you work with the setting of intentions, you're setting this final goal. Then the next step will open up to you, as long as you keep that intention, the positivity, and your prayerful connection to it. So you go to the next step, then you go to the next step. And it's going to feel easy. It's going to be like nothing's happening, and all of a sudden you have it, and you're going to look back and be like, well, that was simple. Because the law of attraction doesn't usually work in this bam explosion of light and color. It's the next step. But it's going to feel easy. There's not going to be a lot of drama and stress with it. It's just going to, the next steps. And when you're working with the law of attraction, the other thing is don't get into the I see it, I want it, I have it right now. Because when you get into that mindset, you actually short circuit what the law of attraction will do. Because as I spoke earlier in the video, this other person thought that the law of attraction meant, well, as long as I want it, I can have it, which is true. But they didn't go through the steps of really holding that intention and allowing it to, through the process, come to them, and instead occurred a massive amount of debt because of swiping credit cards, taking out loans. That might work in some cases. The law of attraction doesn't say that those are not going to be the options. But if you set the intention, I want this new car, and I want it free, clear, with no debt, or with free and clear, and my money it's paid for up front, basically. And that's your intention, and that's what you're working towards. Hold on to that. Take those next steps. It will happen. You might have to take out a small loan, but you're going to be able to pay it off in a miraculously quick way. When you set your intention and then you continually go around it, doing, oh, I don't want to do this, but it's the only way I can have it. No, that's the only way your conscious mind is going to have it. So your conscious mind says, just go get the loan. Get that $25,000 loan that you can't afford. Because the law of attraction said. No, the law of attraction said to follow the next step. And that didn't mean rush out and get a loan that makes you feel miserable. Because that's not helping. You have to find that way of the balance. And when you do it, like I said, it's going to feel easy. You're going to feel at peace. The next step is going to be effortless, basically. And this applies to a lot of different things in your life when you work with this energy. Everyone likes to say that the martyr is the only true follower of God. No, that's not true. The law of attraction, working with God energy, is work with me, I work with you, the next step will be opened up. Don't try to take 15 steps at one time. The next step. With exercising, when you're trying to get in shape, you don't go to the gym and expect to be able to bench press what someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger bench presses on day one. You're going to hurt yourself if you can even move the bar. It's small steps that build to that point, and it's the same with the law of attraction. It's the small steps. When you really first start out, try to manifest something like, today I'm going to find a dollar bill on the ground. Today I find a dollar bill on the ground. Today I find a dollar bill on the ground. And chant that for the first, and I mean chant it, repeat it to yourself. Say it when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, brushing your teeth in the morning. And do it for 5 to 10 minutes. Just keep saying that. And then stop talking about it altogether and just go about your day. At the end of the day, did you find a dollar? You can do it with a cup of coffee. This is how I started working with it. Was my intention every night before I went to bed, my coffee tomorrow at the gas station will be free. My coffee at the gas station will be free. My coffee at the gas station will be free. and I'd walk in, the person in front of me would mysteriously pay for it, which was cool, and I'd pay it forward. Or it would just come to the point where I would help do something minor, like break down a couple of boxes because the person working in the place couldn't do it. But my coffee became free for me after that. And I still don't pay for drip coffee because my intention is my drip coffee is free. And that's just where I'm at. I've progressed into other things, and there's going to be ups and downs. We're human. We're going to have those doubts. Just, I'm not saying that to be negative, but just don't get hard on yourself because something happens. Stay in that mindset of, okay, today wasn't the greatest, that's fine, but now I'm in a better state, and in my now future, I'm going to be in a better state. What is it I want to create? And when you really start bringing that into alignment, you'll start to notice that things do shift. And some days will be easy and great. It's because you're in higher alignment. And there's other days, which I've had a couple of those here recently, so I've this is a good topic because I'm reminding myself too. Other days are a little bit rough, and you don't have to be hard on yourself. You just have to remind yourself, it's all right. This is where I'm at right now. Now I'm moving into another part of me, and as I move into another part, I improve that part, and this is where I'm going. So it's just a way to kind of look at things differently. Everyone says stay positive as you're growing up, and always, you got to be in a good mindset, and it's true. But just being in a conscious mindset of positivity, you still have to work on the subconscious, and that's where the law of attraction kicks in. And using things like vision boards, using things like meditation. In a future video, I will discuss going over how to build a sigil to kind of get out of your conscious mind and really affect your subconscious mind with intentions. And that's another way to work with it. There's a lot of different styles of using these different things, guided meditations, guided visualizations, and it's all different ways to work with it. But if you are really interested in learning more, because this is a short video about it from how I view things. The Vortex by Esther and Jerry Hicks is an amazing book. Ask and It Is Given has a ton of exercises in it, ways to work with the getting past your conscious mind into your subconscious, really triggering the law of attraction. And I'll link some of these in the description below. They're great resources. Again, the Master Key System by Charles Haanel is, honestly, if you really want to start bringing this into a financial point of reference, that's one that I would work with a lot. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is really focused on a financial version as well, but it applies to a lot more. If you take the word prosperity and abundance, that's what these books apply to. And one that I'll reference the book, and there's another CD that a lady has made, but 3 Magic Words by U.S. Andersen is a book full of different topics, and at the end of each topic, he has a meditation that you can read out loud, or, if you would rather, there is a binaural beats and what do I want to call it? Guided meditation teacher named Kelly Howell, and she has a CD called The Secret Universal Mind Meditation, and it's something to listen to when you're going to sleep at night. And she takes a lot of her references directly from U.S. Andersen's work. So, like I said, I'll link those, or just write them down in the description so you can check those out if you would like. If you like what I'm doing here, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and you can leave any comment you would like, just as long as it's respectful. I think we can all work in a more positive mindset there. And I will talk to you guys in a future video. Have a good one.